Okay,
Yeah.
everyone. What I've got now is I'm just going to introduce you to our student that was Nathan Weale, who's in America. He's now actually in the UK, but he's going back out there and he's agreed to do a couple of minutes interview with us. So, afternoon, morning, Nathan. You okay?
Yeah, good to you.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. Just going to share it on the screen. This is what we did of Nath before he went out there. And we do this actually with the whole presentation of what we do in terms of with our college presentation now. So as you can see on screen, oh, we don't want to move all that. We just want Nathan there. Okay, so I'm just going to start on a quick fire questions, and we will release this via our social media platforms because we've got other students that are interested in the American experience. And so we're going to ask a few questions in Nath now. We'll start on the watch now. Okay, Nath, first of all, how is America, and explain where you're based, first of all.
So America's perfect. Like, it's so big and you've got loads of stuff to do. I am in Dubuque, so that is in Iowa, but it's bang on the border of Wisconsin, Minneapolis, and Illinois, and
Brilliant.
right on the river.
Yeah, well, it's got on screen that you're overlooking the Mississippi River, and I have mentioned in a few presentations that, to be fair, it needs to be over a river because you've probably put a few balls in there, I'm sure, mate. What's
Yeah.
what's the standard and the facilities like that are out there compared to the UK?
So the standards are a lot different. So like fitness levels are key over there. Like facilities are good, and like you play in superb stadiums and training facilities. And for my first game, I played in like a 15,000 capacity stadium.
Fantastic, that's brilliant. What and how did the Cheltenham being on the college program, etc., help your experience and prepare you for that, mate?
So the Cheltenham experience was real good. Like, I've been there since under 16. I learned a lot, and I thought that experience helped me develop in my whole and understand a lot more about football. And that's where I feel like I'm improving a lot more and with a lot more knowledge than what some of their players do.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Well, listen, have a great time when you go back out there, mate, and we will catch up when you're back home in May.
Yeah, cheers. We'll do.
Okay, mate, that's the first bit. Now we'll keep this going now because we'll share that bit on social media. So we're recording this now for our YouTube followers, and all the players in our centres can experience this because the Future Elite want to come in and do another presentation. So basically, on the American experience for parents, I suppose, watching this, what was your first experience? So you got to the airport, you flew out to America on your own and went straight to university. Explain that, because I know it was quite a bit of an experience, wasn't it? Explain that just so everyone can see understand.
So the first time I went, I was proper nervous, getting on the plane on my own, flying 9 hours, and I'd not really known what I was going to expect. I think I got to the airport in Chicago about 9 o'clock at night. So I was properly jet lagged, real needing to sleep. My coach couldn't pick me up till 12 o'clock at night. So I didn't pick that then at 12. I had a 3 hour drive from Chicago to Dubuque, and then catching up on a lot of sleep on a Saturday morning. I thought,
how long? So the whole experience was probably about a 16-hour from leaving the UK to getting to your digs. Would that be right?
Yeah, getting to the airport 3 hours for a 9 hour flight, and waiting at the airport for 3 hours, and 3 hours.
And so when you settled into your digs, how long before you were actually then back in the uni to kick off?
So we got there on a Saturday. All our training was starting on Monday, fitness testing, games would then start a week after. But then the academics never started till the end of August. So I was there 4 months, settled in before that started.
Fantastic. So just touching on that fitness levels, because I know obviously over here you wore the vests, etc. And so you were doing probably your 10Ks per game, which, you know, is decent. How did that compare in terms of the fitness and all the boys that you had out there? Because first of all, are there many other Welsh lads, English lads on your course?
Yeah, so we've got 3 other English boys in our first year out there. Then we got one other who's in his second year.
Okay.
So we all noticed the same with fitness levels being so high and not knowing what to expect. And like, say I was doing 10K over here in a game, I'm probably pushing up towards 15K a game over there.
It's a fair bit of difference. And what sort of conditions were they, in terms of temperatures? Like, we look at it over here and you think, well, okay, that, like, you've done nearly 50% more than what I always said. You didn't pull your weight over here, Nathan. Now it's proven it's
Yeah.
50% more now. So what was the temperatures like?
So when I went, we did fitness testing on like the first day back on the Monday, when about 38-degree heat. So that really put us in, and we're doing it right in the middle of the day instead of early morning.
Wow.
So that was real difficult. We had about and then 50 in our program, and I think only about 2 or 3 passed the fitness testing.
God, and how many in the program? 50.
Yeah, there's 50 of us.
Crikey. And so after your fitness testing, that lasted for about 4 weeks before you got games program going. Was that correct?
Yeah, 4 weeks before the league started, and then we had about 8 friendlies in between.
Oh, okay. And so plenty of football. So how many games do you think you've been involved in, and the levels, and is that first team, second team? Explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was basically involved in probably, I'd say, about 30 games since I've been over there. So I was predominantly, I was playing second team games at the start with all the other freshmen first years out there.
Yeah.
Most of our team were basically seniors and third years playing, so they're a lot more older and understood the levels a lot better than us.
Yeah.
Second team, I probably played 15 games, getting 90 minutes, I'd say, week in, week out with them. Wow. And then also getting minutes all the time. Hang on, that sounds fair.
So just to recap on what Nate's doing there, he's in demand, isn't he? So he's had 15 games at 90 minutes playing for the second team, and you've gone to some first team games as well. What was that experience? And in terms of the levels you played over here, obviously you got to step 6 in the football pyramid. What sort of levels would you be out there, Nate?
So I'd say the level I was at then was step 6. I'd say I noticed a big difference. So step 6 was probably just below our second team level.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And then I'd say our first team level, not watching, but say Welsh Premier League games, I was watching them the other week.
Yeah.
Our first team would probably beat quite a lot of home teams.
Would they really? So I'm trying to equate that then and looking at it. So I know a couple of teams in that. So you're looking at step 4 level then, possibly.
And yeah.
That's fantastic. So you've had that many games, which is great. In terms of you came home then 16th, 17th of December. You now go back tomorrow, the 13th of January. Not a great day to fly now, Friday the 13th. Don't tell your mum I said that. Don't tell your mum. So what football you got when you go back, and when do you come back then?
So I think when we go back now and tomorrow, I think we start Monday. We play like a futsal league all between ourselves, get developing. So I think our coach is very big on that type of understanding where futsal level and being able to play quick and understanding the levels.
Yeah,
and he was like, "That's where I think you'll get a lot quicker on the ball through that process."
Understandable.
And then after that, we start. I think we go outside because it's a bit too cold playing now out there.
What's the temp? What would the temperatures be out there now, then, Nate?
So I looked this morning. It's about -6 earlier, but when they had that massive storm, I think the temperature got down to like -28 Celsius.
Wow! So you've gone from being out. You've been out there when it's been +40, and also been when it's been -28. And am I right in saying you actually had a lockdown as well, didn't you? The school was locked down in your first week.
Yeah.
And that's not because you were there. It was what was the reason? Sorry.
Third day, we had one of the ex-students there put out a threat to the university saying he's going to shoot the whole school up, saying, "Who am I going to target? Is this principal still there?"
Wow.
And being what happened.
What was that like for you? Experiencing that. What within your first few days there?
Well, we were training in the morning at 5 o'clock, and then we finished training, and our coach then said to us everything about it.
Wow.
Said, you need to get off campus as soon as possible. So all of us first years, all us English went to one of the Mexicans' house. So we were staying there till it all quietened down.
Crikey, that is unbelievable. Amazing.
They apparently caught him getting into like Dubuque and then arrested him.
Really?
Yeah. And I think he's got something like 5 years inside, at least.
Oh my day. When did, and I've got to ask this, when did your mum and dad find this out? Before, during, or when did you tell them?
They got a text message from the university saying what was going on and nothing to be worried about, but I think they were.
Oh, did they? So the university contacted your parents, not you?
No, I was still at training, and they called me saying what's going on straight after. And yeah.
Oh, mate, as a parent, that would be horrendous. That would be horrendous. So when you've got more league games when you go back now after the futsal, is that right?
I think it's just like friendly games we go back to now, but I think we play most of the teams from our league in them games.
And how many games will that be then?
I think we're pushing up to 10, 15 maybe.
That's great. That's great. Because listen, and the reason I asked that, because I know a number of experiences that people have gone out there and said they haven't played many games of football and that, but you wouldn't say that then from your experience.
Well, I've seen that we're playing all the time, every day.
Brilliant.
We'd always training session with a 11v11 45-minute game.
Wow. Okay, that's decent. And in terms, and I've got to ask the boring questions about the course and things like that. How does the course relate to what? Obviously, you were doing well over here with your coursework. Is it the same over there? Is it harder? Is it easier?
It's so much easier.
Is it?
So if we're going to go out and think of the coursework and I'm struggling, it's so much different.
Wow. Okay.
It's like say business management out there. I've basically been the course so far.
Really?
I think I did 3 sport business management courses. I think I got 100% and 1,000 marks out of 1,000 throughout it all.
That's brilliant.
Done no exams. Yeah, I've done no exams this year.
You haven't?
No exams. It's all PowerPoints coursework.
Okay.
And it's like 5-word assignments, and that's it.
So, what's the negatives, if there are negatives, to the whole experience and the course, etc.?
So I'd say we'll start with the coursework. I'd say our negatives are basically we've got to study certain university courses that they need us to do to be able to.
Oh, okay. So not
graduate.
actually not courses you would have chosen.
Yeah. So we've got to do, I think, a biology class, a physics class, and then a ethics class. So this last semester I did philosophy.
Okay.
That is very boring, and it was just seeing how much you could talk about so much, all different stuff.
Yeah.
And why things happen. But say towards the end of the course, we had the World Cup on all the time in our class. So all us English lot was basically sat at the back of the class watching all the World Cup games. We got away with it.
What's the for somebody that's gone out there like yourself, completely fresh, just gone into the experience? Are you bored? Is the food poor? Is it good? Are you finding things to do? What's it like outside of the college, university side then?
So the food is probably the worst thing I'd say about it all. So we're on meal plans at the university, so we get food, like we get all our food included, 2 meals a day.
Okay.
And I'd say it's not really the best. The meat, I'd say, there is so much different. It's all processed.
Yeah.
But you've got to eat it. You have to.
Yeah.
But you should just got to.
So when you go back to your house then in the evening, your digs and that, do you cook then, or
No, so I'm basically sat at the university, staying there.
Oh, okay. So you eat on campus, sort of thing. Yeah. So what happens in your second year? Is that when you go to outside digs, or do you ever move to outside or not?
Yeah, I think we're moving to outside apartments and stuff in our second year.
Have you made good mates out there whilst you've been out there?
Yeah, very good. So many from different countries.
Brilliant.
And understanding different cultures.
Brilliant, brilliant, mate. It sounds brilliant. And listen, I'm delighted for you. It's good to see you miss your mum's home cooking as well, naturally.
Yeah.
And in terms of, like you say, the fitness and on that side of it, and you know, what would you say, like, you know, you weighed when you went out there, and what do you weigh now in terms of that? In terms of, like, obviously, because if you're getting from 10K to 15K, you've got to become a lot leaner and still eating, etc.
Yeah. So basically, when I went, I was probably about 82 kilograms.
Okay,
But now,
82.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
coming back, I think down to 76.
Wow. Okay, and doing all what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Nate, listen, mate, thank you so much for spending the time this morning. Have a great time when you go back out there in a safe time. And I want to thank you for spending the time doing this interview, mate. And all the best back out in America. And we'll catch up with you in May when you're back home, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Very appreciate it.
Thank you, Nate.
That's right.